Hello and welcome. I'm Gargi Rawat and you're watching me live on youtube.com/NDTV, the site to go to for all the videos on NDTV. All our shows, all our reports are right there, and every day we ask you about the stories that you, the viewers, want to know more about. Well, this was our top 5 pick of the day. I'll quickly run you through all the 5 stories that we had for you, which you voted on. Rajinikanth, Kamal Haasan, Superstar Alliance in Tamil Nadu. Students on warpath as BHU appoints Muslim professor for Sanskrit. Nitish Kumar backs challenger of Jharkhand Chief Minister. So some signaling there by Nitish Kumar. 7 of today's 10 most polluted places in Uttar Pradesh. So UP and pollution remains one of the big stories. And over 17,000 birds dead in Rajasthan. And it seems a lot of you want to know more about that story. So this is a very, very shocking story. Remember, this happened after some wildlife enthusiasts and local photographers actually went to Sambhar Lake. This is near Jaipur and it is the largest saltwater lake in the country, and they found that this lake where a lot of migratory birds visit during the winter season. This is the time when birds from China and Mongolia etc. fly towards India because it starts getting very, very cold over there, and they come to all our water bodies, and Sambhar Lake was one such lake where these birds would come. But now we found that thousands of birds, and over 18,000 of them have been found dead, and it's still not very clear what exactly it is. Scientists are saying it could be botulism, some sort of avian botulism, which is passed through a bacteria or some sort of infection in the water. So that is what scientists think it could be, and most likely it is. This avian botulism causes paralysis or death to the birds. In fact, a lot of these birds, they were found in this sort of situation where they couldn't even walk. A lot of them have been treated, and just look at that. It's just heartbreaking to see the number of dead birds over there. So very, very worrying situation. Now, Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ashok Gehlot, has actually issued an order to all state wetland authorities to look into these sort of issues, that what could have caused this. This is the country's largest inland saltwater lake. It is also a protected site as well, and a lot of concern over this. The Chief Minister also calling for a meeting on the situation here. The government, of course, waiting for this detailed analysis, the toxicology from the Indian Veterinary Research Institute, as well as from a southern lab as well, as to what is the problem. The water samples have also been sent to know what if there's too much heavy metal, and so a lot of concern. There was concern because we don't know whether they were carrying some disease. These migratory birds coming from China, were they carrying some disease that could spread to our own birds? But for the moment, it doesn't seem to be that. It does seem to be something caused by the water, and officials also suspect the birds had been feeding on maggot-infested carcasses, which also contributed to their death. And there are over 20 teams of over 100 veterinarians and nursing staff are there at Sambhar Lake to rescue these birds, because as we were showing you, there's some birds who are slightly troubled. You can tell they can't walk properly, they can't fly, and now what's happening is treatment is being given to these birds. Also, water bodies around Sambhar Lake are also being checked out to check if there's any sort of spread of this bacteria or disease there. So this is a story that NDTV is continuing, to track very, very closely, given the number of deaths that we're seeing over here, and it's a very, very worrying situation. There you can see these heartbreaking pictures of just birds lying dead around Sambhar Lake. Now, the other big story that has everybody very interested is what's happening at Varanasi Hindu University over the appointment of a Sanskrit professor. Now, what is so remarkable about a Sanskrit professor being appointed? Well, this professor is a Muslim. He's Dr. Feroz Khan, and he studied Sanskrit. His father is a Sanskrit scholar as well. In fact, he sings bhajans in temples and in his neighboring area. And Professor Khan is actually from Rajasthan, where he studied Sanskrit. He has a love for the language, and he was the only candidate who applied for this position and actually passed the written, the test that they had to check on the candidate. So it's quite incredible. But these students here at the Varanasi Hindu University are protesting. They say that a non-Hindu cannot be in this position, that it is the literature wing of the Sanskrit Vidya Dharam Vigyan, and they've been protesting over the last 12 days, saying that they will not accept this appointment, that he should be transferred to another department department, another Sanskrit department, but not for this particular department. Now, we've been speaking to people, and we spoke to professors who were actually a part of this board that chose him, and they said he was the most suitable candidate. His knowledge of the language of Sanskrit was exemplary. His love for the language was evident. But still, you have this situation where the students are protesting. But it's good to see that the authorities at BHU, however, are quite firm that they've followed all the rules, and there's nothing wrong with this appointment. It is a language that he's teaching, and he has been found to be one of the most capable candidates for the job. So it's been 12 days since this is going on. The Vice Chancellor Rakesh Bhatnagar has been trying to speak to the students, and there are also reports that it could be some sort of motivated campaign against him, perhaps being promoted by other professors. So that's not clear. These are of course rumors at this point. The students claiming this is not a normal department, that they're taught about culture as well as the language, but those who are a member of the board that chose Professor Khan are scoffing at this, saying there's nothing wrong, and he was the most able candidate for the job. So we shouldn't see this sort of bigotry against him, this open bigotry in which students are actually protesting just because it's a non-Hindu, and let's face it, a Muslim who's been selected for the job of an assistant professor in Sanskrit at the BHU. So we'll continue to bring you more on this story as well. Now the big story in the south, the big blockbuster in Tamil Nadu politics. Kamal Haasan yesterday dropped the bomb when he said that he could possibly travel together with the other superstar turned politician Rajinikanth if it means the welfare of the state. So, and Rajinikanth reacted to Kamal Haasan's statement, saying that if needed, he too could travel with Kamal Haasan, or they could tie up. So that's the big question. Will they tie up ahead of the 2021 state elections? Now, so far the AIADMK has reacted to this, saying that it's not going to make a difference to them, but of course that is bravado on their part. It's going to be a big thing if they do come together in Tamil Nadu. DMK has refused to react, claiming that they'll react only if it actually happens, because for the moment it's just it could be kite flying right now for them to figure out what sort of response the public would give them should they come together. But there does seem to be a lot of excitement among both their fans, Rajinikanth and Kamal Haasan. The fans are very excited over this. Remember, there is a vacuum in Tamil Nadu politics after Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi. This is the first election the state will face where neither of those two icons, those two giants of Tamil Nadu politics are there. And while Stalin, of course, is there with the DMK, and you have the AIADMK, but still there is nobody of that personality. And that is a vacuum that Rajinikanth and Kamal Haasan are looking to fill. However, both being, actors turned politicians, it could be a matter of cutting each other's votes. So should they come together, that would be a whole different ball game. So that is something definitely that everybody is very excited by. Kamal Haasan said that Rajini and I will travel together if there's a need for Tamil Nadu's development. If there's a need for traveling together, we will tell. Now work is important. We can talk about our policies later. He says that we are together for 43 years and we joining together is no miracle. And also, as we said, Rajinikanth had reacted to this, also saying that it could happen. Also taking a dig, Rajinikanth took a dig at Chief Minister Palaniswamy, saying that it is a miracles will happen. It happened yesterday, it's happening today, it will happen tomorrow as well. However, the AIADMK is saying that Palaniswamy worked for the party for nearly 45 years and has grown steadily. Rajinikanth has made these remarks as an actor. If he has to say something, he has to start his own movement. Remember, Rajinikanth has still not started his own movement. He's just announced his entry into politics, while Kamal Haasan has, of course, does have his own party. So that is another story that's very interesting in Tamil Nadu and has led to a lot of speculation and excitement. Well, those are the big stories that we're tracking, and of course the Maharashtra story also continues to be one of the big stories everyone's interested in. Right now we have the NCP and Congress who are going to hold a meeting, and perhaps we'll have more clarity then. The Shiv Sena has said by tomorrow more will be known, everything will be clear, so waiting on that. Well, that's all the time I have today. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.